Greetings viewers, welcome to my channel, and in this video I'm going to be discussing the digital power station from Schumacher. It's about 1200 amps here. It's the model SJ1332. It's actually the updated model of the XP2260, which I think has been around for a while. This looks pretty much the same as that one, but I guess they changed some stuff on the inside, but wanted to go over some of the features that it has, what I'm going to be using it for besides jump starting cars, and let's get into it. So the feature that I really like about this, besides it being able to jump start batteries, is the inverter part here. It's got two AC outlets, and you know, it's not a very big inverter to begin with. I think it's a 200 watts continuous, which pulls about 20 amps on the battery side. And it's about 400 watts surge, which, you know, it's really not a lot of power. But for the application that I would want to use it for example, running, you know, just a couple LED lights, or, you know, if I have like a couple of the wall warts like that, you know, like that, and for people to charge their phone, you know, that's a perfect application for the inverter piece of it. It does have a 2 amp USB charge port here, which is great to have. It does have the 12 volt power port, so if there, you know, I have a you know, if I have a compressor, if there's any other device I want to use, you know, it's available to me. It's got this light here, which is, to me, is kind of useless. It's better than nothing. If anything, I just use this light so I can see to connect an actual better light to one of these ports here. On the back here, it's got a built-in compressor, and it's also got a built-in inflator for, say, like beach balls or like a inflatable mattress or something like that. It's got the backlit. It's got the light in here. Here's the storage area. It actually has the metal end on it. I know there was some reviews on this a while back where the older model had problems with the compressor. Something about it, you know, overheating, turning off, or shorting out completely, or even seizing up. This seems to be the better one, I've been told. It does come with a couple different attachments here in a bag, you know, for like soccer balls and basketballs, things like that. It also comes with this for the inflator. The inflator's up here. So it's got air coming out here, and then it's got air drawing in here, so you can actually deflate or inflate here. Finally, the chargeability. They did a good job with integrating the charge circuitry inside. You need an extension cord here in order to charge this up, which is not a big deal. This folds back up here. You have a charge indicator light. This was pretty much charged at 90% when I bought it at Lowe's. Got it for 15% off, so it was a good deal. And I think it only took like 2 hours to be at 100%. And you can test the this current status of the charge here by pressing and holding, and there's your 100%. When you turn on the inverter, you'll get that message, and then it'll tell you the output wattage of how much you're drawing from the AC outlets. So I just wanted to talk about some of the limitations of this unit. I'm actually looking in the instructions, and it even goes over some of the devices to use caution on with the inverter in here. You know, switch mode power supplies, fluorescent lights just come to mind. I know that switch mode power supplies are you know, like these are the wall warts that power like a device like your phone or a tablet. Those are switch mode, but most of the time they really don't care. They're just taking the AC form and converting it to DC and regulating it down to whatever it needs. So just be cautious of what you're using that inverter for. Another forewarning on the inverter, I've seen other videos on YouTube do this, is that they've actually were able to connect this unit with the inverter to a house. I cannot tell you how bad of an idea that is. One, the inverter is limited to what it can power, and also the waveform is not compatible with a lot of stuff in your house. Two, the inherent design of a modified sine wave inverter is that the neutral to ground and live to ground, they're hot. You have, the way that it's designed, in your house anyway, is your neutral and your ground are one and the same back at your main panel. If you try to connect this to your main panel, or your transfer switch is not properly set up, if you short these two legs of the inverter to ground, you're going to blow half of the MOSFETs that is running that AC modified sine wave, and then you're going to have a pretty, the inverter will probably be toast at that point. So bottom line, don't connect this to a house. This is meant for portable application only. The next limitation, so you're aware, these 12-volt power ports here, there's two of them. They're in parallel with each other to the battery. There's a 20-amp fuse that's connected in between it. I looked inside. So you can only draw 20 amps from both of these combined here. You can't draw 20 amps here and 20 amps here, so it's 20 amps total. Not really a big deal, but just in case you're trying to draw more than what it was designed for, that's something to be aware of, that you really can't ask it to draw 20 and 20 here at the same time. The compressor seems to be the newer version with the metal end. I haven't looked at the manufacturer, but this does have a thermal protection, so if the compressor runs too long and gets too hot, the thermal protection will kick in. It will shut down the compressor until it cools off. Time will tell on how durable that's going to be. You know, hopefully I won't get too many flat tires, but it's still good to have. So just keep that in mind. The inverter fan is located right here. You want to make sure that this is clear. You can see the heat sinks inside. Just make sure that this port is always free of any obstruction, because as you start to add load to that inverter, it will get warm and it's going to need to dissipate the heat. The fan is pretty loud. It's a very high velocity fan, and it has to be for the size. And I just don't really, it's kind of annoying when it's running, but again, it's just one of those things where you need to be aware of that, you know, the inverter does need some cooling capabilities, so you don't want to obstruct that in any way. Finally, the last thing I wanted to mention is how to replace the battery. Right now I haven't, I have the warranty sticker there, but the warranty is not very good on it. They only warranty the battery for 90 days from the day that you purchase it, which also happens to be the same amount of time for your return window to Lowe's. It's just a couple screws, and then this back panel comes off, and then you can get access to the battery terminals, slide the battery out, do what you need to do. It's a pretty good size one. I'm really sure it's one of those 20 amp hour batteries here, and this is the casing that protects it. But it's a good size battery for what you're going to be able to power off of it. Again, I looked inside, just cut the warranty here just to kind of peek inside and see what's going on. Nothing's really changed from the last model except for the different compressor manufacturer. Time will tell how well this lasts, and you can rest assured that if there is any kind of failure or any kind of issue, I would be doing a video on that to show everyone how I repaired it. So I hope this video has been helpful. If there's any questions on the function or the repair, please let me know. I'm pretty good with electronics, so if there's anything going on with it, I've had a look inside this, and I should be able to tell you what needs to be repaired or how you could repair it. Short of actually finding replacement parts like a replacement compressor or anything else like that, would probably be more difficult to find. The inverter components don't look that great, but again, can be bought from DigiKey or Mouser.com. It is possible to repair that as long as there's no major burn damage or anything like that. Thanks guys for watching, and any questions, please feel free to leave a comment in the description below, and cheers!